Mr. Speaker, it's a pleasure to follow the previous speaker, that luminary of economic prosperity and business growth, the member Darian Fenton. Darian, I most apologise. Most apologise. Well, let's don't take these things personally. Now, the member Sue Moroney talks about the tsunami of something else, and I couldn't really make much sense of it other than the fact that I felt like I was drowning. However, the ironic factor in this that's not actually lost on any New Zealander is the fact that that party, in fact everyone on that side of the House, virtually voted against everything that we're trying to do to create the business environment from which jobs will grow. Because we can't just put seeds in a pot and miraculously make jobs grow. You actually have to do things to get the economic settings right. And, sir, this bill is another very good example of how the Labor Party seem to think that businesses are some sort of bottomless pit of money and that they should just shower it around their employees regardless of the employee relationship, what effort and what engagement that employee has had with the employer. So they miss the fundamental cornerstone of business, and that is that businesses must produce a product or provide a service that no one else is providing, that is either cheaper than someone else or is of better quality than someone else. They must provide it in a way in which they can actually make a profit, sir. So they must sell it for more than what it costs them, and they must grow their market to have some sort of scale. And that means they must invest and take risks. None of this seems to make sense to anyone on that side of the House or the people over there in the old watermelon patch, sir. But at the end of the day, if a business doesn't do those things, they will not succeed. It's as plain and simple as that. It isn't just the case that the employer can get out the old Xeroxer and run off a few $100 bills just to take care of the needs of this sort of Labor Party fantasy land stuff. Of course, if the employer was the Green Party, they probably could. Because, of course, we all know that Russell Norman is gearing up his photocopier, sir, because as soon as he gets his hands on the Treasury benches, he wants to push go on the old photocopier and fire out those $100 bills, all the while being supported by their friends in the Labor Party. Sir, this sort of bill is really the financial equivalent, it's the economic business equivalent of pushing water uphill with a rake. Just doesn't make sense whatsoever, and you end up with a big mess on your hands. So I understand that this bill was actually formally introduced by the member Darian Fenton, the economic luminary of business growth and prosperity. So it's not any surprise to me that it lacks the ability to stand up to any economic scrutiny whatsoever. It's full of socialist sort of union ideology. Unlike my previous colleague, I will not stand here in defence of the unions. But what I will stand in defence of, sir, is their ability to negotiate with employers for what is right for the employer-employee relationship. I'll stand up for that. That's exactly what this bill doesn't do. So that member's list ranking is plummeting through the floor as we speak. That's a terrible shame. Sir, this bill would have employees receiving redundancy after 12 months of employment. And if anything, if there's going to be any tsunami, there'll be a tsunami across the SMEs in this country who just simply can't sustain that sort of crazy talk. Just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. See, this is loony Labor Party sort of nonsense that we've become so used to. New Zealanders love it. They lap it up. See, this disincentivises the hiring of staff. This is what the Public Advisory Group said. Disincentivises the hiring of staff, reduces wages, and it would mean there'll be more temporary contracts and contract workers. What would the union say about that? What would the union say about that, sir? It'll cause additional stress on businesses, it'll run some businesses out of work altogether, and reduces their competitiveness. That's my wingman, sir. My wingman, Tau Hinare over there. Sir, this bill undermines businesses, doesn't make sense whatsoever. It's just another effort from the Labor Party that I think really expresses and sums up what the Labor Party of today are all about, and that is that they actually don't know what they're about, sir. This bill will not be supported by the National Party.
Very good. Denise Roche.
Mr. Speaker,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my pleasure to take the call on this Employment Relations Statutory Minimum Redundancy Entitlements Amendment Bill, and I congratulate the Labor member, Sue Moroney, for bringing this bill to the House. The Greens will be supporting this bill. It's a bill that will provide compassionate and necessary